About 20 hours ago, we finished our women's basketball preview episode, but that was not the actual finish of that. We're getting a little bit of an extra bit here, and joining us is the associate head coach and offensive coordinator of the Tech women's basketball team, Blanche Alverson. Thank you so much for taking some time out of the afternoon to come join us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
So this is your fourth year at Tech, correct? At this point,
Yes, going into year four.
it's your senior year. Do you guys? How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, feeling comfortable, feeling good, feeling. I really enjoy our staff.
You know the scheduling hacks now. You know how to get to no more 8 a.m.s. You're done with that.
Yeah, exactly. No, not scheduling those classes anymore.
Um,
No
so
Friday class either.
yeah, and you played at Auburn under Fortner too,
I
correct?
did. Yes.
Okay, I was just there this past weekend for the Arkansas game. It was
Oh,
not the liveliest I've seen campus
yeah.
in the last few years, but I did want to start with that. Just you and how you played under her and then coached with her and alongside her. What have you gleaned? Like what all of you just through the osmosis of being around her so much on both sides of the touchline? Like what do you get from all of that?
Yeah, so we joke about all the time. I've known her now longer than I've known her now longer than when I did when I first met her. So I've known her for 17 years, and she doesn't like when I say that because she's like, that's a long time. But, one of the things, like I committed to Auburn to play for her, and that was a big deal of my decision to go to Auburn was because of her. And so just her energy and her background and her basketball knowledge and who she is as a person really shines through. And I think anyone who has any sort of interaction with her see that, and that it's genuine and it's who she is. And she's a people person first. And then when she decided to get back into coaching and come to Georgia Tech, and talking to her and just what she was passionate about and what she believed and how Georgia Tech could be and working together. And obviously we're super familiar with each other. And I like the fact that I went out and worked for some other incredible people and had different experiences in different parts of the country. And so coming back home was a no-brainer, especially coming back to work for her.
Mm-hmm.
And just what she embodies and represents. Like she's built programs everywhere she's been. And so one of the things that I've enjoyed working for her is seeing how to do that. A lot of people with her, you don't just show up and then all of a sudden you start winning games. I think the biggest thing is in her process, and she's a people's person first and a player's coach. But she knows how to do it and has the experience. And so I've really taken a lot from her in that regard and just really how to build a program and manage people.
That is cool. I mean, last year it seems the program was built pretty darn well based on how the season went and how we got to the 11th spot, if I remember correctly. It had some really fun games in the process. What were some of your highs from last season, and what from last year are you wanting to carry forward into this year? Whether it's lessons learned or just particular bits that were just new to you. That's like, okay, we'll keep trying that kind of thing.
Yeah. So coming from, in year two, in the COVID year, we go to the Sweet 16, and we were, really fortunate that we came in with some really, really incredible players and people. And, they came in and they believed in us and bought into what we wanted to do. And they put forth a tremendous amount of effort, and they earned it. They earned that right to go to the Sweet 16. I mean, it wasn't always easy, but they pushed through, and we had some big wins in that year also. And then so just the momentum carrying over into the next season with Aurel Kabai coming back, Lodemai Lotnin coming back. We knew we had something special. Our freshmen were now sophomores. Nerea Hermosa is now a junior. We knew that if we could keep everybody together and keep everybody healthy, add in a couple pieces with Digna Stratmana transferring in, Sarah Bates kind of coming into her own, coming back from an injury. We knew that if we could get those pieces together, that we were going to have a pretty special group and compete. Some of the highs from that year was really cool. Obviously, the UConn game, that was a big deal. Anytime you can play UConn, especially in your home floor, just the energy around that game was really exciting, and it means something when you're playing UConn. That was definitely one of the highs. And, we did what we were supposed to do. We came out, we did have some bumps in the road, early, but I thought our team was mature and they were experienced. They knew how to get past some of that stuff. Mm-hmm. We competed and we were tough and we played really hard. And then come February, we were ranked 11th in the country. And, and then I feel like some depth hurt us and just, some injuries and different things like that. And I'd say one of the biggest things, that we've learned is that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. We don't want to peak in January. We want to peak in March. We want to peak going into April, right? Like those are the goals. And so I think coming in, taken from last year and coming in, we do have a new bunch. We have 6, 7 new players.
Yeah.
Like we have to build a different kind of chemistry. That wasn't stuff we necessarily had to do as much with the entire Sweet 16 team coming back, more or less. So we had to we definitely know we got to spend more time on our chemistry and spend more time with our players and helping them continue to make that bond, that tough, relentless togetherness. That's something that we know coming into this season that we've really had to put a focus on.
With all those names that you mentioned that are gone between Kubai, Bates, Lawton, and all them, what was y'all's main priority in just filling in the gaps there? Because obviously that's a lot of defense that's gone, that's a lot of rebounding that's gone, that's shooting that's gone. So that's basically everything in basketball that they were running. Like, so what was the priority there when filling in their shoes?
Yeah, I think too, one thing that we really feel strongly about the people we have coming back from those teams and their experience, relying on them with Hermosa and Love, and then our players who coming in with AC Carter coming back now as a junior and older piece on the team, and then our now those freshmen are now sophomores, right? And so I think in putting those pieces together, we signed a couple really good transfers. Cameron Swartz coming from Boston College, Bianca Jackson coming from Florida State, 2 players that have experience. So we lost some experience, but we gained some experience in playing at that level in those big time games in the ACC conference. Then also too, our freshman class, we're really excited about what they bring. And they're, we really feel like this group is a group that has the ability to have really good chemistry. Mm-hmm. And, we're a little different, we're a little faster, we're a little more athletic, and some of the areas that we might have to make up for, we do have, some abilities that maybe we didn't have in the past. Mm-hmm. So where we don't maybe have as much size, but we have more speed and quickness. So I think when you're building a basketball team, there's different nuances and different strengths of each year. And I think that's what in building, like we want to kind of put together a good combination of everything. And I feel like that was kind of our goal coming in from the off season into the season of putting that team together.
You hit on a lot of different things I wanted to touch on. I'll start with just the offensive part and just go purely talk about the offense. Last year, it felt like our team here has kind of felt like last year's team was like this year's Iowa football team. A whole lot of defense, and you found offense when it was there. And I remember the UConn game being kind of, I wonder if you think that was one of the best executed games for y'all in terms of really strong defense and then just milking the clock on every offensive possession to limit them to even get a shot off at all in the first place. Just minimize their chances. And then this team, obviously it's going to change a little bit here with the personnel y'all have. So like what's your main focus now offensively compared to last year?
Yeah, so I think, we every year you do kind of a postseason review, kind of your off season, what do you need to work on? What pieces do you need? We knew, kind of with our team and our numbers that we weren't going to necessarily be able to play the fastest game. We started 3 post players in our starting lineup last year. Yeah. So we knew it wasn't going to be this fast up and down game, but we did what we had to do to win the game. Mm-hmm. And that was slow the game down. Our defense possessions took the whole shot clock because we really bared down on that end of the floor and really prevented people. So that also slowed the game down. That means we didn't have as many possessions, right? So, we know that we were one of the worst teams in transition, but we were also one of the better teams defensively. So it was just a different style. So what we look at in that is like, okay, well, how can we improve that? Obviously, like we need to speed the game up. We want to be able to score more while not necessarily losing some of that defense. We still want to be really good defensively. Mm-hmm. While also now we recruited and brought in players who play much faster pace. The game, if you watch the game, you watch the WNBA, NBA, you watch high level basketball games, it's a super fast paced game. You want as many shot attempts as you can get, right? The first best shot on the floor, different things like that. So we've really put an emphasis on pushing pace, pushing with tempo, and really, putting pressure back on the defense, right, to create some offense for us in that regard too. So I think that's one of the things that you'll see this year is just our pace of play just increasing, and hopefully we're getting more shot attempts up, which is then going to turn into more points. So
maybe I'll use the 7 seconds or less Suns as a barometer for
exactly. Yeah, we'll have some of those. Hopefully we have some of those. That's the goal, right? Is to be able to push it and get some quick buckets. Right. Don't relax. You can't just relax, when you're pulling down. I feel like we've been the opposite. We've been really intense defensively, then offensively we haven't played as fast. So now it's like, okay, let's merge the couple.
Yeah, trying to find a happy medium there.
Exactly.
Onto the freshmen, I did some research on them, and everything I found about Toni Morgan was like, oh, this is great. Her game tape looked good. Boswell's game tape looked good. Kara Dunn's game tape looked great. What about them excites you? Are these folks that we could expect to possibly see more of this year compared to last year's freshman bunch, knowing the depth wasn't as much there? At least from what I could see, they seem like very polished already, just at the high school level.
Yeah, I think, in recruiting, when you look, you want to recruit, you get to know recruits as people and you get to know players as people. And we have recruited a really good group of people. And first and foremost, they're all great students. They're all great people. We really enjoyed recruiting every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we were really excited to get them here. We recruited all of them for a pretty long time. Kara being local, Tony being from Florida, Raven from being in Texas, and then Inez Niguero from Spain. It's really interesting. We recruited that group heavily in COVID and heavily through Zooms, and it was a weird time in period. And then them coming into the fall, had them on official visits and brought them in. And one thing too about each of them is they're winners, and their teams competed at a high level, compete for state championships, compete for high level tournament games with Inez in Spain, playing for World Cup or World Championships, and then Kara Dunn winning a state championship, Tony Morgan competing for a championship, right? So I think that's one of the things when you look at them coming in, they're an experienced freshman bunch. They've all played at a really high level and competed. There's definitely some learning curve, obviously, coming from the high school to the collegiate level, but we definitely expect them to come in and be impact players for us this year and really compete to be on the floor.
That'd be cool. I know you mentioned the depth from last year. I think there was a lot of games where and sometimes volleyball does this too, where there's only 6 or 7 that are showing up and playing most of the minutes there at the end. So, no, I imagine that's a welcome sight to have.
Absolutely,
folks that'll be ready to just step in whenever. And if it comes to one of those February games, it's like we got to roll 8 for a game and just try it. That's great. On the rotation though, is there? I mean, we can kind of guess of what a starting 5 would look like just based on who's the experienced folks who was starting last year. Do y'all have a set 5 in mind right now, or is that something that y'all still need to work out through the first couple games?
Yeah, I think, it's early with us having so many new players. We are still continuing to work and see what that is and see what the best combination of that is early and really working towards figuring out what group meshes well together on the court. And, we're in a good predicament where we have a few, it's not just a straight, okay, these are our starting 5.
That's good.
It's a good problem to have where we're still trying to figure out what that looks like. And so, that'll be something that comes as we get deeper in the season too, where we're playing more games as we come up to our exhibition game on Thursday.
Yeah. Nice. What is y'all's measuring stick? What is Coach, when at the beginning of the year, what is Coach Forder telling everybody? All right, success. What is the barometer of success for the whole team? I mean, wins obviously are great, but is there something else more intrinsic that y'all are looking at as like that? Okay, we'll put the check on a good season if this happens.
Well, one thing that Nell's really passionate about, and we are as our program, is we have pillars in our program, and we have a list of them, and they see them every day when they walk in the locker room, and it's kind of just the standards of our program. Mm-hmm. And we feel like if we do these things, responsibility, trust, just any communication, there's certain things that we focus on that if we do these things, good things will happen. Mm-hmm. And so we don't try to get focused in the result as much, right? But like in the process. And how are we showing up every single day? Are we getting better every single day? Are we cutting hard all the time? Are we running hard all the time? Like, are we boxing out every single time? So the controllable things that we can focus on, we focus on that and not necessarily the result. Yeah. The result will come, but also too, at the end of the day, we do want to win. Yeah. So, but our message to them is, hey, we want to compete. And this is how you do that. This is how you, being tough is not missing your defensive assignment, right? Yeah. Boxing out every time, going to get rebounding, setting great screens. So just focusing on details of things we can control, and trusting that the product's going to happen.
Letting wins be a byproduct of effort, less than
effort and attitude.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Are there any particular games y'all are looking forward to on the schedule? There's a lot. The non-conference does have some heavy hitters and just notable names, and the ACC is what it is and has been for a long time. But is there anything early that y'all are like, all right, we want to get that game right?
Well, I think for us, and looking at our schedule, we have a challenging schedule, and when we recruit players to come into Georgia Tech, that's what we talk about. We want to come in and we want to recruit at a high level, and you want to play in big games, and that's what we have this year. We have games that are tough. On the road at Belmont is a tough game. On the road at Auburn is a tough game. Mm-hmm. Georgia is Georgia. Yeah. No opponent for us this year is too big or too little. Like each game for us matters just as much as the one before.
Mhm.
And I think that's one thing. One thing that I think everybody's just excited to start. So we're going out because we're excited about the team we have.
Mhm.
And so being able to get out on the floor and play against someone else and compete and get better every single day,
Mhm.
that's our goal. And I
Yeah.
think we're really excited just about what schedule we do have because it does prepare us for what's to come in the ACC, where we have such a tough conference. I mean, to us, it's the toughest conference in the country.
Yeah.
Where we've got to be prepared for that, and I feel like our non-conference schedule is definitely going to help prepare us for that.
It'll be fun to watch. In the locker room, is there are there? I mean, I guess there's always captains on most teams. Are there any like particular like notable like okay these are the team leaders, these are the point people that the young people are constantly going to for advice, just how to just adjust to tech, do the basketball facet, if you will. Do y'all have those people on the team?
Yeah, I think that's something that's going to start to show themselves as we start playing games and start going. Obviously we have Nerea Hermosa, who's played and started here for 4 years. I mean, she's a fixture within that lineup, right? That everyone knows what to expect when you come from her. That's easy to rely on, right? You got some older kids who have transferred in too that were leaders on their teams. And then we have some freshmen who have been coming from leaders who are going to be able to have an impact. And that's one thing that's really cool about our team is leadership comes in different ways with this team. And I think it's going to continue to show itself as we move forward in the season. So I wouldn't necessarily say there's one person, two people. I would say it just comes from different places this year. And then I think a big responsibility in our coaching staff to really kind of put this group in good positions to be able to allow them to play and continue to build their chemistry and work towards getting better every single day together as a unit.
Yeah. That's cool. I like that a lot. Not on basketball. Do you have a favorite spot on campus that you've gone to, or just anything that's non-basketball? Do you have a favorite spot on campus, or a favorite food spot too as well?
So I'm a foodie, so I like to go try a bunch of different stuff around, especially around campus, because when we have recruits around, we're very fortunate that we have a lot going on in our mile.
You walk to wherever you want, probably.
Yeah. So we I love what's around our campus. On campus specifically up at Tech Tower, I love that area. I think it's really nice and quiet and serene. Our campus is awesome anyway, but it's super easy to walk to different places. But yeah, I like trying all the west side provisions over there. There's lots of different food spots over there too, and lots to do. So
I was telling someone earlier,
I'm a LaFondo regular, so I'll take
that. That's perfect. That's perfect. I've been eating their salsa since I was like 5, so
it's phenomenal.
Sign on that. If I lived at Westside Provisions, I'd lose all my money on Taqueria del Sol.
Yeah. See, any Mexican food spot though, like sign me up.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. That's all I had. Thanks so much for taking out some time. We'll certainly be looking forward to coming to as many of the games as we can get to as a staff, and hopefully see some trophies this year.
That's the goal. Gotta compete. So we're looking forward to getting started.
We'll do our part with our voices in the crowd.
Awesome.
Right. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
Thank you.